Distraction doesn't fix the damage. It's so easy for us to run to these things that let us distract ourselves from the pain and problems that we face every single day. To our friends, to our partner, to our vices, distractions, devices, whatever you want to call it, we find these escapes from reality so that we do not have to experience it. But in these distractions, we are not removing the damage that's there. We're not dealing with the feelings that are deep down inside of us. We're just distracting ourselves. And so the pain that we face is still there. We find these different emotional addictions, ways that we can avoid having to deal with the pain that's inside of us, this void that we try to avoid so that we don't have to face the pain. We don't have to come back to reality. We can escape it for a while. And the stronger that void, the stronger the feeling you are trying to escape, the stronger the escape needs to be. It might start off small, but the longer you try and escape, the larger that pain is going to grow, and the larger escape you're going to need. It's going to eventually prevail if you do not tackle it. Whatever you resist persists. So when you continue to resist this negativity, this void inside of you, and choose to not deal with it, it will eventually grow larger. It will eventually find its way to you. And we continuously look for these external distractions, these external vices, so that we don't have to deal with the internal, so that we can place this emotional bandage over our emotional baggage, so that we don't have to open up the bag, so that we don't have to look and see what truly it's trying to tell us. These emotions that we feel, the negative ones that you try and escape, are not there to hurt you. They're there to give you a message. They're there to tell you something. But if you don't listen to the message, if you don't look for what it's trying to tell you, it is going to come back stronger until you listen, until you understand what it is trying to tell you. These feelings that we've just basically become common nowadays. We've told everybody it's natural to have these. Depression, anxiety, all these things. We're not looking for the reason they're happening. We have people that are doing nothing with their life, becoming depressed, and then not choosing to do anything about it. These feelings do not come for no reason. There have been decisions that we've made. There are perspectives that we hold. There are beliefs and thoughts that we focus on that then create these emotions, and they are trying to give us a sign of what to do. But we run. We don't open the mail. We try and find something to cover it up so that we do not have to confront it. And this is a humongous problem. If you continue to run from these problems, you're not going to get anywhere. The farther you run, the more it'll chase you. It's like running on a hamster wheel. You run and run and run, but you're not moving anywhere. You're still locked in this cage, but the longer you run, the more you can distract yourself as if it's not there. But the cage itself is not locked. This cage inside your mind that traps you into these emotions that you don't want to feel, you can step out of the cage. It's never been locked. But the only way to step out is by moving through the pain, by going through the struggle that you've been trying to avoid, which is where that growth is going to lie, which is where everything that you want to achieve, that is going to make you feel better, lies on the other side of it. But until you're able to move through those emotions, listen to the message, and actively move through it, we cannot make progress. Because outside the cage is everything we've been looking at. It's everything we've been imagining. We see other people go through their problems. We see their experiences. We see the things they deal with, and we like to imagine it's so simple. We like to imagine everybody else has it better. Why is that? It's so easy for us to see other people's solutions because we're not dealing with the fog of emotions that they have clouding them. But they could do the same for you. That's why it's so powerful having people to talk to about these things. It's so hard for us to sometimes see past that fog of emotions that makes us think our problems are larger than they are, makes us expand them, makes us get so lost in the past and future about everything that's going on, instead of being able to presently make a decision on what we need to do to move past it. And this is one thing that we've lost so much in this new generation, as these devices have come around, as more people are constantly finding things to distract them for almost 24 hours of a day. There are people that for the 18 hours that they're awake, the 16 hours that they're awake, they're constantly on a device. They're constantly distracted. And that's the thing. They've basically become every part of our life. Constant distraction. So many people have lost touch with themselves because they're constantly focused on everything outside of them. Just because you constantly find these external vices, you constantly find things to suck your attention away, does not mean the internal you doesn't need attention. Doesn't mean that you can never look internally and see what's going on, and that's what we've lost. We've lost awareness. Awareness of self, awareness of the things around us, awareness of what is outside of these devices in this world that we've created. It's that phone, man. You gotta put it down. You gotta actually look to find yourself. Take time to really see what's going on with you. Because I guarantee there's times when there's nothing to do, when you begin getting bored, when there's nobody to hang out with, that you start to feel those emotions, that the messages start to come through, but you find ways to ignore it. We all have these vices, we have these things that we use to escape, but the longer we try and escape, the more we're just dulling our awareness of the feeling, and the feeling's gonna come back stronger so that you feel it, so that you get that awareness. And again, that's just a message. That's not here to hurt us. That's not here to damage you. That's not something to spite you that you need to take medication for to try and cloud over. There's reasons these things are happening. There's reason you're having these thoughts. There's a way that we can move past them, but if you don't view it as a teacher and you view it as your enemy, it's going to feel like it's constantly trying to spite you. The teacher's just trying to show you the lesson. And so how can we listen to this? How can we get better at understanding the lesson instead of constantly distracting ourselves with things outside of us? Placing bandages over these emotional scars that we don't want opening up. Placing bandages over these feelings that we have inside of us that are just a lesson for us to learn. And it starts with understanding their lesson. If you constantly frame these negative emotions as something you need to resist, something you need to run away from, you're going to keep doing it. You're going to keep finding ways. And the stronger it comes back, the stronger escape you're going to need. But if we can just reframe, we understand that these are moments for spiritual growth. They're moments for us to grow as people. We can use them to do that. They can end up serving you these negative emotions. You can get excited when they come because you know there's something for you to move past. But again, the more you resist, the more it will persist. Until we're able to change our outlook on these emotions, change our understanding of them to be messengers and not enemies, we cannot move past them. If you continuously resist them coming through, if you continuously fight them and try and make it so you don't have to feel them, imagine you're not that type of person. Don't think of them at all. You just try and push them out the way. Of course they're not going to be able to move past them. Of course you're not going to be able to accept and use them to your advantage to serve you. These emotions aren't us. Anything that passes and goes is not us. That anger, the depression, the anxiety, it comes and goes. It's not who you are. So let's not identify with it. Let's simply see it as an emotion of the mind and move past it. And once we have this understanding, once we're able to become aware of it, we just need to build the awareness. Let's get better at understanding when we're trying to escape, when the negative emotion is coming on. Get better at sitting and being able to understand what it's trying to tell us. This only comes through awareness. Our awareness has been basically taken to an all-time low because of these devices, because of everything that we consume. We're constantly looking for a way to distract ourselves, get lost in somebody else's story, get lost in somebody else's life without ever looking internally at our own. And so, get better at just sitting with yourself. We have to imagine there was a time and place to where people did not have a way to escape in the same ways we do. Yeah, there were maybe books, yeah, there were stories they could tell, but they had to sit so totally with themselves for a vast majority of the day. They could see the actions that they were doing. They weren't getting lost in everything that they were doing. They simply were sitting with themselves. How hard is it for people nowadays to sit silently for more than a few seconds? They lose themselves. They constantly need something to distract themselves. When are we going to begin making this a normal practice? Just being with you. If you're so uncomfortable with sitting and being with yourself silently, in nature, in your room, wherever, and just being able to watch the thoughts that you're having, how do you ever expect to be a good person to other people? You are not okay with yourself. You cannot sit with who you are, but you expect them to sit with you. What's the point of that, man? Let's get better at seeing who we are and just being okay with it. Seeing the thoughts, seeing everything that's going through, seeing those emotions, because once you have that awareness, you can begin moving past it. And so, once we've accepted these are our lessons, once we've gotten this level of awareness, meditation, mindfulness, just sitting with yourself for periods during the day helps immensely. We can then start to reframe it. By reframing it, we are seeing the emotion, seeing what has caused it, and then finding the solution to it. A lot of the time, the solution is just gratitude. It's just love for these emotions that come to us. It's not fighting against them, resisting them. It's being grateful that they're coming and then seeing what they're trying to tell us. You may feel depressed. You may be in your room alone, depressed, and you feel like the weight of the world's on top of you and nothing's going right and you can't see a way out of this. But what is this trying to teach us? Well, maybe I'm waking up and the first thing I do is scroll Instagram for an hour. And then I don't go take care of myself. And then I eat shit food. And then I don't apply for the jobs I need to apply to. And you create all these patterns, and then you wonder why you have this backup emotion that comes in response to it. What is it trying to tell us? What could you be doing better for yourself? How could you be loving yourself more? And I guarantee the more you love yourself and the more you love these emotions and the things that are coming to you, and just take them as, a part of this journey that you're on for growth, they'll serve you. They'll begin to work in your favor. But the longer you try to avoid them, the longer you keep this cycle, this loop of just not being productive, of not doing the things you know you should be doing and just running away from them, the longer it's going to continue. It's sometimes not easy. It's sometimes not easy because we're taking ourselves on a lower low. You already feel low. Your dopamine's already extremely dipped. And when we're doing something that's initially painful, you're dipping it lower. You're making it go even farther down because it's painful. It's a struggle to go through. But those painful experiences, the things that make us struggle, the things that we don't initially want to do, once we get through them, it shoots back up. When you go to the gym, when you do a cold plunge, when you do that one task you know you should have done, when you finish with that piece of work that you've been procrastinating, what do you feel? You genuinely feel pretty good. You realize it wasn't that bad. Why? Because your dopamine shot back up, because you started to feel good again, because you did the thing you were supposed to do. You finally listened to the emotion. And so, how can we listen to it and take proactive action to let it serve us? Find the way to go through it, and don't resist it through this process. It's a very simple way to accept it when it comes in. 1, accept it. Just be okay with it. Don't try and resist it. Don't try and push it out. Don't try and find the distraction. When you realize you're trying to distract yourself with something, we need to sit and understand and accept what it is we're trying to run from. You may notice while you're trying to do work, while you're trying to do something you know you should be doing, you're finding ways to distract yourself. Before you go to the gym, you start watching YouTube. Before you do the work you know you need to do, you're picking up your phone, you're scrolling Instagram. You're finding ways to escape. You don't even realize it because you've done it so many times. Understand what is going on. That comes with the awareness. And when we do that, we can accept it. Accept what is happening. Then we need to make the shift. The shift is gratitude. The shift is love. Instead of initially letting it lower our energy, making us feel worse, we accept it. We're grateful for it. How is this going to play to the quality of my life? Asking ourselves better questions. The questions you ask yourself when you feel negative show that you feel negative. Oh, I wish this wasn't happening. Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to you? It's happening for you. So why are you resisting it? How can I be grateful for this? How can I love this? How is this going to serve me in my life? Those are the questions that are going to play to the quality of your life and continuously make it better compared to the ones that are going to make you feel worse. And so, we accept it, we're grateful for it, and then we choose the new feeling we want to have. We choose the new way we want to feel. We choose what action we are going to take. Now, knowing this is a sign, now knowing this is a message, how can we use this to the quality of our life and let it serve us? And once you begin doing this, once you understand the message these distractions are actually trying to show you, the message the emotions are bringing to you, we can then use them to our advantage. So, take this. Become aware. Awareness is huge. When you can gain awareness, you can make so many changes in your entire life. Use it to your advantage. Let it serve you, and become the best version of yourself. God bless. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.